Okay, we are recording. Do you guys see the recording button?
Yes.
In the top? Perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. Sorry we're jumping on a little bit late, and sorry for this. This is going to be really awkward the whole time. I need to put this up so I don't have to hold it. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties here. All right, are we good? Now I can just sit you guys on my tripod so I don't have to hold my phone the whole time. All right, so sorry about the technical difficulties. Anybody can do this job, you guys. It's not that hard. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So our new consultant call number 1 for this month. So what I wanted to do, you guys, was really hop on here and I'm going to introduce myself. Actually, I should do that first. But I wanted to hop on here with all of the new consultants that joined our team last month, and then also for those that maybe have stopped working their business and then are jumping back into business. So for those of you that don't know me and have never met me, my name is Kelly, and I'm kind of the leader of this whole entire organization. And we have multiple leaders on our team, me being one, and then Jen Turbo is another, and Yvonne is another. And we have many, many up and coming leaders as well. There's lots of people working towards directorship, which I'm super excited about. So I've been with Pampered Chef for 2.5 years, and I'm going on 3 years actually. And this is now my full-time career, my job. I was a full-time second grade teacher when I first started and doing my business on the side for about 2 years. And then I decided I can leave my job, income-wise. I was making enough with my business that I could walk away. So as scary and nerve-wracking as that was, it is probably the best decision I have ever made. So I absolutely love my job as a Pampered Chef consultant. So that's kind of a little bit about me and who I am if you don't know who I was. And then, so basically you guys, this is going to be a very general training of like new consultant stuff. So some of you like Heather, Sarah, some people that have already done your new consultant call with me personally, you're going to hear a little bit of a repeat, but I think that's okay. Okay. And then we'll kind of go into what the basics of our business is and how we are successful. Okay. So let's first start with when you're a new consultant, basically the 2 dates that I want every single person to know is their 30-day and their 90-day date, okay? So their 30-day date and your 90-day date. If you know what those days are, would you raise your hand? Okay. And I know some of you are not in your 90 days still and some are, and this is such a weird, I cannot see everybody's faces. So basically, that's your first step, you guys. If you don't know your 30 and your 90-day date, you need to go find that out. And that would be in a welcome email that I sent you in the very beginning of your business, okay? So right when you joined, you got a welcome email from me, and your dates are in there. So why I have us as new consultants focus on the 30 and the 90 days is because there's so much opportunity for a new consultant to earn in their first 30, 60, and 90 days of business, okay? So in my first 90 days of business, I earned over $900 to spend in PC bucks. I earned my $500 cash bonus from fast tracking, and that's on top of all of my paycheck that I was getting each month as well. So this is really, I really like to give people and let them know and repeat about 30, 60, and 90 days, because I absolutely hate when somebody joins the business and kind of just, maybe decides not to do it right away, and then they're honestly a little irritated later after the fact because they are like, crap, I could have gotten so much stuff in my first 90 days and now they're out of their 90 days. And it's kind of like, okay, well, obviously there's always going to be perks to our business, but the 30 and 90 days. So what do you get in your first 30 days? So your first 30 days, you're going to work towards a goal of hitting 1250. And I know some of you have already hit that, which is so exciting on here. So 1250 in sales. So when you hit your first 1250, you're going to get your signing bonus, which is $250 in Pampered Chef bucks. That was last month's special. So that's if you joined last month. So anybody that maybe you have joined your team this month, they're going to be hitting that 1250 to work towards that free walk. Okay. So that is basically the first goal is the 1250 to get the signing bonus. Then after that, after the signing bonus, every other $12.50 that you hit in your first 90 days, you get an additional $100 in Pampered Chef dollars. And PC bucks or Pampered Chef dollars can basically be used on free products. They can be used on logo wear if you need to replenish your catalogs, if you want sample items in your own kitchen, or you want to build up your kit. If you want to go to national conference, you can use those PC bucks on your national conference ticket and whatnot. So they can basically be used on anything. They don't expire either. And so you can just kind of save them up and use them when you want to. So that's in your first 30 and 90 days of the 1250. So 1250 is kind of like the magic number in your first 90 days to just keep hitting your 1250s, because then you get more things for free. And then the last thing is, in your first 90 days, if you decide to promote to director, which lots of people are working towards, there's called a fast track bonus. And a fast track bonus is a total of $2,000 cash added. It's just a cash bonus, $2,000 added to your paycheck when you promote to director. So that $2,000 is broken up into 3 different segments, okay? I'm not gonna get super into this program just because there's a lot of numbers that go along with it and it can get pretty confusing sometimes. However, the month that you promote, you get a $500 cash bonus. If you hold your title of director 3 months after, you get another $500. And then on top of that, if you have one of your teammates that says, hey, I want to try for that $2,000 cash as well in their first 90 days, then you would get a $1,000 cash bonus. So the $2,000 is broken up into multiple segments, okay? So that is kind of the general perks of within your first 90 days in addition to your commission check that you're going to be getting. And then there's always going to be a sales promotion. So like last month, we were able to earn the apron. This month, we're able to earn, when you submit $750 in sales, you get some of the free summer products for free that are coming out. We don't even know what they are yet. We're just working towards them. And then when you hit 1,500, you get all of the summer products that are coming out. So there's always going to be a sales promotion. The only bonus that goes away is that additional $100 every 1250 that you hit. Okay. Any questions about what I've talked about so far? Okay. And I know this is very general and very people. For people brand new is what I meant to say. Okay. So the next thing is that within your first 90 days, within your first 30 days, I want to go back to that goal of 1250. So even if you're not in your 90 days, so I see Shaloy's on here. She's not in her 90 days. Michelle, I don't think you're in your, Michelle, are you in your 90 days still?
Kind of. I signed up when it had the extension, so it says it's through May 5th.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So anybody that's in your 90 days or not in your 90 days, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use this I want you guys to use this as a general guideline as to how to kickstart your business again. Because if anybody comes to me and takes 4 months off of their business or 6 months off in their business and says, hey, I want to start revamping and doing my business again and working Pampered Chef, I'm going to just basically treat them like a new consultant and train them as I would a new consultant. And so basically what I recommend in the next 30 days, book 5 to 6 parties. Okay. And this is in the virtual world. Most of us are virtual. There are people that do cooking parties. So on this call, I'm going to be really talking more virtual. I do cooking parties upon request. So if we have cooking party questions, I can answer them. But I'm mainly virtual. So booking about 5 to 6 virtual parties. And virtual parties, you always want, well, any type of party really, you always want to account for cancellations. Okay. So to get your 1250, even if you're not in your 90 days, we're going to still work to get that first 1250. Okay. And to get 1250, you can hit that pretty much between 1 to 3 parties. Some people maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but typically on average, it's 1 to 3 parties that will hit you at your 1250. And so booking those 5 to 6, let's say 2 people canceled in your first 30 days of those 5 to 6 parties, you would still have 3 or 4 parties that you could do in your business. Okay. So let's talk about booking parties. My suggestion is to always book multiple parties on one day. Okay. We always want to work smarter, not harder. And so what that means is that we are going to, what I tell my new teammates, and I'm just going to tell you guys this, is to simply, when you're learning and you're brand new, I ask you to duplicate what I do. Okay. So my parties start from Tuesday through Thursday. So I ask everybody, okay, so the next day you're going to be booking is Tuesday, party starting on Tuesday. So once you're out of your 30 days, I'll be honest, it does not really matter what days you do your parties. Okay. It doesn't matter if you do them over the weekend. It doesn't matter whether they're a week long or whatever. It's really based off of your personal schedule. You know, your work life, you know, your family life. Like, I really want you to focus on that after your 30 days. So after you get some learning and you get some experience with me as your help, or maybe whoever you joined with in this company or on the team with, after you get some experience and some practice with those parties duplicating what we do, then you can kind of adjust the schedule. And after you kind of get a sense of how to run a virtual party and what to post on what day and whatnot, then you can kind of adjust it based off of your schedule. Looking at your schedule, so I used to run parties over the weekends, and I realized I was not very attentive to my parties because my husband's home on the weekends, my kids are home on the weekends. Like, it just is, it's all family time. So I figured weekends are probably not best for my schedule. So that's personally why I do Tuesday through Thursday. There's nothing special about those days. That's just why I do that. So always booking multiple at one time. So in your first 30 days, if you're new to this, which of course all of you are, I recommend starting with doing about 2 to 3 at a time. Okay. So right now we're talking right now in April. So tomorrow's a little bit too last minute to start a party. You could do it, but with the system that I use, I like to have a little bit of extra time. So I would recommend you guys book the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. And you can continue on into May, of course, but let's just really focus on April right now. So the 16th, the 23rd, and the 30th. So if you do 2 on the 16th, 2 on the 23rd, 2 on the 30th, or 3 on the 16th, 3 on the 23rd, 3 on the 30th, okay? And I always recommend doing multiple at once because every single host is different. Every party is different, okay? So if you saw my post the other day on our Inspire Tribe page of all my parties that I had, you noticed I was doing the same exact thing, same exact post in all those parties. I was coaching all my hosts the same exact way. And I had a party at, one of them was 1,000, one of them was 800, one was 500, one was 0, and one was $43, okay? So those numbers are very drastically different. So my point to this is that if I only had those 2 parties that were the $0 and the $43, I personally would probably get really pissed off and I would get discouraged and I would be kind of like, oh, like this sucks. Like I didn't make any money this week and I just spent all this time with these virtual parties. I don't really spend that much time, but anyways. And so that's why I recommend doing more than one, because if you only have one, then that's only one experience you're going off of. Whereas if you have multiple hosts, 2 or 3, then you can kind of see the difference between the parties. Who knows? They may all be great parties and they may not be. So that's just kind of the general rule with virtual parties is you just, some are good, some are not. Let's see. So booking multiple at one time. Any questions about that aspect of it, the 5 to 6 parties?
No, Kelly, I do have a question though. Is there a limit on how many can be in this meeting?
No.
Because I looked at the Facebook page and it looks like Angela and Julie are having a hard time getting connected. So I didn't know if there's a limit.
Oh my gosh, what is going on? Let me log on really quick. I wonder if I did something strange when I made the link, because
I don't know. It logged me in like normal, like it always does. So.
I'm going to go to the meeting settings. No, they should be able to get on.
Okay.
Maybe just tell them will you comment and tell them either to call in, like use the number, or like I had to switch to my phone. So tell them either to switch to a computer or a phone, like change up what they're doing.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet.
I don't know what is going on. That's so strange. Any other questions before we move on? Okay. Okay, so the next thing is that with bookings in general, we are going to be talking about, okay, how do we get parties? Who do we ask? And just the basic general guidelines of how to book parties, okay? So I will tell you, the more parties that you do and the more parties you get underneath your and have experience with, the more confident you will be getting in your asking of parties, in your doing of parties, and everything. And my number one thing right now, you guys, if you're brand spanking new, fake it till you make it, okay? You have the support behind you that you can fake it till you make it. All you got to do is simply go out there and ask anyone and everyone, okay? So number one thing is, if people reach out to me for support or help and say, I can't get parties, or I'm not able to get parties, my number one question is, how many people have you been reaching out to? Okay, so it's always a numbers game of reaching out to enough people. So all of us, even if we only have 100 Facebook friends, we still have Facebook as our number one network. You can start with your family and friends. That's totally fine if you have close family and friends. The people who helped me get started in this business was my mom had a party, I had my own launch party, and my best friend had a party. Okay, and so if you want to start there with those people, then do that. So what I want you guys to do right now is, with a pen and paper, I'm going to give you a few minutes. With a pen and paper, I want you to write down, who are those people that you know in your life, number one, that love to cook, number two, that love Pampered Chef, or number three, that just are simply love you and want to help you out. So I want you to start listing names. Even if you think they're going to say no, don't even think that. Just think of your family and friends in your life that would want to help you out in this new adventure. And Sarah, I know you're driving. It's totally fine.
Is there an age limit on who can be a host or not?
Nope. Nope. Not at all. Okay. So shout out, how many people do you guys have? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 10? How many people about? Just how big is your list?
I don't know, 4.
Okay. Rachel said 3. Michelle said 4. Anybody else? 5? Tracy? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to tell you guys is, start with those 4 people and start with them to practice, okay? So number one thing I hear from a lot of people is, I'm afraid to reach out to people, or I have a fear of asking people. I don't want to sound pushy. I don't want to be annoying. And I've had so many, I don't know how many conversations I've had with people about this exact topic, okay? And number one thing is, I want to tell you guys is, pushy is all in your head, okay? It is all in your head of like, oh my gosh, I don't know, I don't want her to think that I'm like, whatever. I don't want her to think I'm salesy. I don't want her, whatever. No, you're not. You're not salesy. We're not sending people, I don't know. Just pushy is all in your head. And that's all I'm going to tell you right there, okay? So the next thing is we always have to think about what is in it for them. Okay, so even if it's my mom or my best friend, what is in it for them in hosting a party? So they get free products. They get all of our host special. We have like probably the best host rewards program, you guys, in the whole direct sales industry, literally. And so if you believe that, then you're going to be out there offering that to anyone and everyone you know, because every single person needs Pampered Chef in their kitchen, okay? So my next thing is, I totally just lost my train of thought. Reaching out to enough people. Okay. People are going to tell you no, and that's okay. Okay. People are going to say no. That is life, right? So if you don't, am I freezing? Okay. If you don't get a no, then you are very special, because every single one of us here have gotten no's before. Okay. So what I want to tell you, the analogy is, think of a waitress or a waiter at a restaurant. Okay. So when a waitress comes up to me, when we're done eating dinner or whatever, of course, the next thing that they're going to offer me is dessert. They always offer me dessert. I am usually one, I said yes yesterday, but I'm usually one that says no. And so she still offered me the dessert. I said, no, thank you. Guess what? She moved on and she went to the next table and asked them if they wanted dessert. They said no. Okay, no. She moved on to the next table. She asked them. They said yes. And then she kept going around. So that waitress or waiter doesn't get offended by those people that are saying no. She just continues to move on and keeps asking people. So when you're thinking and having that fear of reaching out to people, I want you to think of that you're that waitress or that waiter in a restaurant. You are simply going to be asking anyone and everyone. And I think that the biggest thing in our next call, what we're going to be talking about is how to really grow our contacts and how to further your business in parties. But today I really want to talk about the basics of how to really start your calendar. If your calendar is at zero right now, or if you're a brand new consultant just starting, how are we going to start this to get you those 5 to 6 parties? Okay. So number one is to start with those 4 or 5 people that you just wrote down on your paper. And I'm going to suggest that you continue that list of people. So have that list somewhere on the kitchen counter, on your fridge, wherever. Have it somewhere that's accessible to you and your spouse, so that you guys can both be adding names to that. Oh yeah, she loves to cook. Add her to that list. Or thinking of like a grandma or an aunt in a different state, whatever. Anybody and everybody. The next thing that I'm going to tell you guys to do is putting yourself out on Facebook. So reaching out individually to people on Facebook, okay? And I will tell you that this is my own opinion, totally my opinion, but I think what makes somebody successful and what makes somebody not successful is that they ask somebody individually versus just posting generally on your Facebook page, okay? So posting generally on your Facebook page is not a bad thing. It's fine. Post a recipe, post you using your products, post something that is very natural, that's not salesy, something about you using your products and how they're changing your life, okay? If you're only doing that and you're only reaching out for bookings in the sense that like, oh my gosh, my host can get 60% off of cookware this month. Who wants to book a party with me? And you're only doing it that way, you're not going to get parties booked. That is like standing on your rooftop and shouting out to your neighbors, asking who wants to book a party with me. Okay. So people are more inclined to say yes to you if you ask them individually, personally, in a private message. And I will give you guys, I'll post this after this training, but I'll post it on the event page of options of words to say. Okay. The words don't really matter. They could matter. I don't really know. I have multiple words that I've used before. Multiple are successful and some are not. So it just really is about reaching enough people. That is the biggest thing. So I will tell you too, I sat down the other day and I did a power hour. So if you are new and you don't know what a power hour is, it's basically setting your timer on your phone for 60 minutes. And you're doing a power hour for that 60 minutes of your timer, all you're going to do is send out messages to people on Facebook or that list of family and friends you can send a text message to or pick up the phone and call them. Okay. So I did this the other day for 60 minutes. I just simply sent Facebook messages. I didn't respond to anybody that was responding back to me until my 60 minutes was up. By the end of the 60 minutes, I had 14 parties booked. 14 people said yes. And then by the end of it, I think it was like a full another 24 hours, I got 27 new parties from just that sitting down in 1 hour. Okay. So I want to tell you that you might not have that same success right away, but it's possible. Okay. And I want you to know that. And I could probably, I don't even know how many people I reached out to, but it took a lot of people to say yes for my 27 yeses. Okay. So for those people that say no to us, is my always next response. I'm huge with follow-up, you guys. Follow-up in this business is number one. Like it is going to be key to your growth later on. So of course we're going to get people that say yes. Okay. So let's start about the yeses first. So if somebody's like, yeah, that sounds fun. Let's do it. my next response is, okay, I have July 16th or the 23rd available. Which one works better for you? Never, ever, ever say, when would you like to do it? Or what about June or whatever? You always want to give them their next 2 available dates and take control of your own schedule, okay? So just telling them, hey, I have the 16th or the 23rd, which one works better for you? If neither of those dates work, they're going to tell you that. Okay, well, I have the 30th. Would that one work? So always kind of taking control of the conversation a little bit and saying the dates that you have available, because you guys, in the end, this is your business. So you need to take control of your business and your dates that you want to do parties. So then, of course, when they say yes and they, oh, yeah, the 16th, let's do the 16th. Okay, great. Can I have your email, your mailing address, and your phone number to set everything up? They send it. Great. They're on my calendar. Okay. So that's a yes. And then when somebody says no, my response is never, okay, no problem, and I move on. My response is, oh, I totally understand. Would you like me to follow up with you in the next few months to see if that would be a better time? Okay. So almost always when people are telling you no, they are saying not right now. It's usually not a, I'm not interested. There are a few people that aren't interested, and that's totally fine, you guys. That's okay. But most people are thinking, no, I'm just way too busy right now. I just don't have time right now. Okay. So that is the key, is asking them if you would like them to follow up. And then what I do is on just a Google document, or you can do it on a Word document or even a pen and paper. I write down all of the months. So January through December. And so if it's April right now and somebody's telling me to follow up with them in 2 months, I would go to my June slot on that Word document, and I would just put that person's name right there. Okay. So then when June gets closer, when June starts to come close, I would then go to that list and follow up with all those people that have told me no 2 months prior. Okay. So that is always another list that I go to if I'm in need of bookings 1 month, because those are people, that's just kind of how I track it. There's multiple ways that you can track a no. Okay. What questions do you guys have?
So Kelly, I have a question about when they say I'm not interested. Do you ever rebuttal with that? Like, what do you say to them when they say that?
When they're totally not interested at all?
Yeah. Do you say, like,
I will tell you what I say, but I can also tell my response is not going to be very helpful, but I can tell you what other people say. So I usually just say no problem. Like, no problem, that's fine. So the reason being is that, to be very honest, I'm just being very transparent with you. I have a lot of messages that I go through every single day, and I have a lot of people I'm reaching out to, like a crap ton. And so if people aren't interested, that's totally fine. It doesn't offend me. Like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And I just kind of move on. However, if you're brand new, what you could do is, I know a lot of people that ask for referrals. Okay. So, oh, I totally understand that you're not interested. Well, do you have a family or friend, or do you know anybody that loves to cook? Or do you know anybody that needs extra income, or whatever you're talking to them about? So always asking for a referral is always very good. And you don't have to offer a gift with it. You can just simply say, like, you know, do you know anybody, whatever. So that could be one way. Any other questions?
I had a question, Kelly.
Yeah.
So the messages you're sending out, are
Mm-hmm.
you, I mean, I know you're at a different point in your business than all of us are, but are you messaging people that would maybe be on that launch list that we wrote up, or people that you've met through other parties, or just anybody, or their friends, people you know, don't know?
At this point in my business, you want to know, or back 2 years ago?
Both.
Okay. So back 2 years ago, I was really, like I said, I started with my family and friends. And what I will do is I'll teach you how to grow from each party that you have of your family and friends. So yes, I mean, using your Facebook friends too. So even 2 years ago, I still had, I don't know how many Facebook friends, but you know, you still had those people that maybe I hadn't even talked to them in 8 years. That's okay. You know, some of the people that are going to book a party with you, like probably about 60 to 80% of the people that will book with you, you haven't talked to in many, many years. And that's okay. I think that it's just overly like telling them, sharing your excitement, sharing what you have to offer, what's in it for them, and asking if they're interested. Okay. So now, 2 years into my business, I have a system in place in my parties that helps my contact list grow. And I can share that with you guys. But, and it's basically like the people that I'm messaging, sometimes I have to look how I know them. I'm like, I don't know how I know you, but you know, and I look back and it's always a past host. So they know me as the Pampered Chef girl, but it's always from a past party. Some people I'm like, yeah, we don't have any mutual friends. I don't really know how I know you, but hey, I'm going to ask you anyways. And that's okay. You know, we're obviously Facebook friends. And I think that that's what Facebook is about. Like, whether you personally know these people or not, it's a social network. Okay. So it's social that you want to interact with them, and parties are social as well. So not only is it that you're getting the income from it and that it's helping you, but you guys also have we have a lot to offer to them too. So, does that help? Does that answer?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Christina, I'm going to open up the chat really quick. When you follow up with a message after asking them if they want to, host, what do you say? So if I follow up with them like 2 months later, I'm assuming that's what you're asking, Christina. I simply just say, hey, Christina, I hope you've had an amazing spring, or I hope you had an amazing winter, or whatever. I would always relate it back to the conversation. So if somebody just had surgery, I would obviously say, hey, I hope your surgery went well, or whatever. And then I would say, hey, I told you that I would follow up with you a few months later, and now's the time. Are you ready to get that party scheduled? Or are you ready to get that party penciled in? It's something as simple as like, I mean, it doesn't have to be fancy. It's just letting them know that you're doing your follow-ups. And that's a good thing of business, really, is to follow up.
Do you have any recommendations for time management? Because that's probably one of my hardest things right now, is trying to balance everything in life and do all this and get it really rolling and started to the point that I don't have to spend as much time, but still be dedicated.
Yeah, good question, Michelle. I think that the number one thing, so I will tell you, I know you're not in your first 30 days, but in the beginning of your business, I will tell you, you guys are going to be spending a little bit more time, because you're not only doing the parties, the 5 to 6 parties in your first 30 days, but you're also learning how to do them. Okay. And you're learning all the systems that you have to put into place. So it really, even taking a little bit extra time in your first 30 days or so, really does not take a lot of time. So here's what I recommend. I used to work a full-time job. When I started my business, I was a full-time second grade teacher. I had a newborn at home, and I was planning my wedding, and I was also building my business. So I know this busy schedule. What I did was I'm very visual. Okay. So I printed out a weekly calendar. And what I did was I highlighted or blocked out times that I knew I was at work, like the non-negotiable things. So like my 8 to 5 job or whatever, or my kids had activities this day, and whatever it was. And then I was able to put in the things that I wanted to accomplish. So maybe like my workout. Okay. I want to try to work out 3 days a week or 4 days a week or whatever. I want to, go to the mall this day. Who knows? Okay. And then I would find those little pockets of time for my business that I could fit. And that's the number one thing, you guys, is it's like, you have to, if it's on your calendar, you have to do it. Okay. So if it's Sunday morning and you're waking up and you have 2 hours, you just got to do it. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is blocking out the time is number one. So doing that, whatever way you do that. I'm very visual, like I said, so I highlighted spots in my calendar and did it that way. And then the second thing is, after you block out the time, you need to have a list of income producing activities. So things that you're going to do in your business that produce income. What are those things that you're going to do when you have that 2 hours to sit down? Maybe it's not even 2 hours, 15 minutes to sit down. Okay. So what are those activities that you're going to be doing during that time that you're sitting down? So this is typically something that I used to do before, I still do it, but before I go to bed at night. So I sit down for like 5 minutes and I have just my list and my planner. Okay, what do I want to work on my business tomorrow? Is it that I need bookings? Is my calendar not as full? Okay, so during my income producing activity time, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however long, I'm going to be sending booking messages. Is it that, okay, no, my calendar is full, I need to set up my parties. Okay, so having that list of what are these things that you need to do, because the worst thing that you can do is get that time and you're sitting in that time that you have available, that short little time that you have available, and you're not sure what to do. because that's such a waste of time, not knowing what to do. So that is my biggest thing. I used to always wake up early, even though I've like taught myself to be a morning person, to be very honest. I like to sleep. So I have to, get myself out of bed. So, but that really, like, especially working a very stressful teaching job it would help me so much to get stuff done in the morning before I went to work. Does that help, Michelle?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions?
So I don't actually have a question, but I just thought I would share that I had a person that told me no, and because they don't like to cook. And so I was like, I completely understand that. What about, you could use it as a good opportunity to buy gifts or to, receive the free product as gifts for family that does or friends. But also you could do it, that they could do it as a fundraiser. And so now I have a fundraiser on my calendar.
Oh, that's awesome.
She doesn't like to cook, but she has a lot of causes that she cares a lot about. So using that as an opportunity to, try to help a cause that they really like or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. So going off of that, there's many different parties you can offer, you guys. If you're not really sure, there's obviously the virtual parties, and the cooking parties are kind of like the go-tos, the most people do. However, there's fundraisers, there's wedding showers, there's just catalog parties where you can just pass around catalogs. That's like the easiest thing for us ever. Give a host 5 catalogs and say, okay, go collect orders, So there's many different types of parties like that. And I love that idea. If they don't like to cook, why not do it for a good cause? Thanks for sharing, Shloy. Any other questions? Okay, so my last thing, and I'll explain what the next call is going to be about. I really wanted this to be basic intro information. Like, where do we go now when you start your business? So I'm going to leave you guys with a challenge. However, before we get there, what I'm going to tell you is belief is the number one thing that you can do. Okay. So we have a belief triangle in Pampered Chef, and I will even post a picture of it. But it's belief leads to actions, and actions lead to results. So you start somewhere on that triangle. And I know that, especially being a brand new consultant, belief is probably not where you're going to be starting. Okay. So belief is a hard thing to start with if you don't have the results or the action. Okay. So obviously we're not going to maybe be starting with a belief. Maybe some of you are, but I'm going to just say generally we're not. And we're probably not going to be starting with the results because obviously that's the end. So what's going to really help you is starting with the action. That's the number one thing. And I honestly think that this is what made me successful from the get-go. Was I just did exactly what my director, who is Stacy Turner, she told me what to do, I did it. She told me what to do, I did it. So I don't want to say I didn't care, but I was like, okay, this woman's been in this business for, at the time, 17 years. So obviously something that she's saying is correct, so why not just give it a try, even if it pulled me out of my comfort zone. There were so many things that I've done, still do today in this business, that I'm uncomfortable with, okay? I'm somewhat of an outgoing person. I know it might sound like I'm not shy at all, but I am. I do have a shy aspect to me. And so I feel that this has pulled me out of my comfort zone in many, many different ways. So that's what I'm really going to challenge you guys to do, is remember that belief triangle. So even if you are not starting with the belief, even if obviously you're not starting with the results, start with the action, because the second you book your first party, or the second you book your 5 to 6 parties, you're going to start getting that belief, which then leads to the results. Okay. So tracking your contacts is going to be huge. And a big goal that I try and I teach is 25 two-way contacts every single week. Okay. So when you're reaching out to people, when a two-way contact is that you reach out to them and they respond to you, whether it's a no, whether it's a yes, whether it's a, I don't want to talk to you, whatever it is, they responded to you. So that's a two-way contact. So basically you can just get a notebook, piece of paper, a planner, do it electronically, whatever, and track the contacts of, okay, so Sally responded, she said not right now. Susie said yes. And just keep tracking those contacts and try to get 25 in 1 week, okay? And that equals out to about 5 people a day. So having a conversation with 5 new people every single day about the business. And even if they say no, if your 25s are all no's, guess what? We're gonna celebrate that. That's okay. You're still getting out of your comfort zone and you're still stretching yourself, okay? And you're asking people about this business. Those yeses will come around. Usually about 1 in 10 people say yes, okay? That's just company average, 1 in 10. So what I'm going to tell you right now is that this is very general, okay? I'm going to challenge each of you to book 5 to 6 parties in the next 2 weeks before I talk to you again, okay? So I'm going to be home this week. Next week, I'm going to be on the incentive trip in Hawaii, okay? And I'm going to be giving some tips from Hawaii for you guys. And then right when I get back from Hawaii, that next Monday is when we meet again. And so what I would like is that those 5 to 6 parties to be booked on your calendar before the I believe it's the 22nd is our next call.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for confirming. So typically, Heather and Sarah, if she's still on here, they coached with me individually, and Rachel coached with me individually, and Tracy, when they first started. And when I coach with you guys individually, I give you 2 days to go get 5 to 6 parties. So getting 2 weeks to go get 5 to 6 parties should be easy peasy, okay? So the reason I'm asking you guys to get 5 to 6 parties is because our next phone call is really going to be diving in on, okay, I have these parties. Now what do I do with them? Okay. I'm going to share my host coaching. I'm going to share my systems that I use for growth. I'm going to share my systems that I use for making money in parties. Okay. I'm going to share every system that I have done that I put into place with my parties. I'm going to, hopefully my Zoom will be working better next week, or the next week after that. But I'm going to be sharing my screen and really going through the template that I use. And I'm going to tell you guys why I do certain games that I do, why I do certain giveaways and posts that I do. There's reasons behind that. Okay. So, that is what the next call with 0 bookings. I'm going to tell you it's going to be pretty difficult. You're going to still maybe learn something, but I really, really want you guys to put something that you're learning next week into action. Okay. So this week, what I'm going to leave with you is number one, I'll post that belief triangle because I just love the visual of it. And it's always just kind of reminds you that this is a journey. Like you're just going to always be somewhere in that triangle. So I'll post that. And then also I will post words that you guys can message out to people. I will post multiple different options of words. Okay. So whether you choose to use them identical and just copy and paste, or you decide to tweak them and make them sound more like you, that's fine. And then the last thing that I want to leave you guys with is not only am I going to give you guys words, but I would love, love, love to see your guys' tracking start happening. Okay. So on the event page, even if it's, oh, I got 5 contacts today, or, oh, I contacted and heard back from 3 people, whatever it is, any little success we want to celebrate with you. Okay. So throughout this next 2 weeks and getting those 5 to 6 parties, I really, really would love for people to be posting and sharing on that new consultant group training event page so that we can encourage and celebrate with everybody doing the same exact thing. Okay. Any questions before we all hop off? And I'll post this recording too, right when it becomes available.
I don't know if it mattered or not. Did you want those bookings to come from like people were just asking, or can it come from like parties we're doing and stuff like that?
Anywhere.
Okay.
Just 5 to 6 new bookings in preferably April, because we're trying to really book up this month. But if they happen to say May, you're not going to say no to May either. So, but yeah, they can be from anyone.
Or if we're booked up for April.
Yeah. Okay. Or if I'm booked up for April too, I understand. So May. Start booking up your May.
Exactly.
Take this time to book your May or even June, wherever you're at, okay? Just keep on booking. I always tell people, especially if you're getting 5 to 6 pretty quickly, don't stop. Keep going. The momentum will be there, so you want to keep going. Tina, I saw a chat come through. Yes, I know. I'm so sorry. I don't know what is happening with the Zoom. It is recorded, and I will post the recording. She said she had did you have a hard time getting on too, Tina? It wouldn't let you on?
Yeah, I had a hard time getting on.
I don't know why. I'm sorry. I will post the recording.
It's okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to make sure because I know we missed a bunch of the meeting and the training, so I was like, oh no, I don't know half of what she's talking about. So if it's recorded, I'll go back and listen. And if I still don't have it figured out, then I'll ask questions.
Yes, of course. And you guys can ask questions on the group page too, or just message privately. Actually, I encourage you to post them on the group page because if you have that question, somebody else probably has that question too. So just posting the questions on that group page or on our Inspire Tribe page. Okay. Any other questions before we hop off?
This is
Okay.
kind of unrelated to the training.
Yeah.
But for the dinner tomorrow, what is
Yes.
the recommended dress?
What is the what?
The recommended dress code?
Oh, casual.
Okay.
It's very casual, yes. And I'm getting the address for you. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I just don't have it myself.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I've reached out to Jody multiple times and she's not getting back to me. So that's why I'm not ignoring you. But it's very casual. Just come casual. We're going to eat a
Okay.
yummy, delicious dinner. Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, you guys. Well, I hope that you have a great night. I cannot wait to see all the bookings that you're going to go get. And I will be posting everything just in a little bit on the event page, okay? Have a good night. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.